Dear friends of love for volleyball, amor por el voleibol, today I have the pleasure of speaking with an American player, member and libero of the United States national team, Olympic medalist, winner of a great and important series of medals in international tournaments. I'm referring to Erik Shoji, who is currently talking with me today. Hello, Erik. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me on, and hello to all the listeners out there.
Fantastic, Erik. First of all, I want to ask you, when did you start playing volleyball, and why did you choose volleyball as a sport?
So I don't know if I chose volleyball or if volleyball kind of chose me. My father was a coach at the University of Hawaii for 42 years. Okay. So when I was born, I was basically put into the court, into the gym, into the arenas of volleyball. And I grew up playing and loving the sport and watching these women and men play. But officially, I believe my first club as a junior was when I was 8 years old. This is when I started competing. Mm-hmm. And from a junior all the way until now, I've just been loving it. I've had so much fun in my career. But I would say from birth, basically, I've been in the sport of volleyball.
And your blood was volleyball. Erik, please tell me, how were your first years playing volleyball? You played in always in Hawaii in school, or how was the story?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Honolulu, Hawaii, and I started playing club volleyball, which is outside of school, mm-hmm. when I was 8 and 9 years old, and I traveled to my first tournament when I was 9, which was in the USA. Mm-hmm. So school volleyball in Hawaii usually starts around 13 or 14 years old for our school system at 7th and 8th grade. So I played on the club team and then also in the school starting 7th and 8th grade and all the way obviously until now. But it was a combination of club volleyball and school, and then I went to university. So when you start young, you play for club and then you move on and play for your school.
Exactly. And I know that you in the United States, you have a very strong and powerful college league of volleyball in these categories. You jumped from the college to the national team, or how was this evolution of your playing?
Yeah, so I started university volleyball when I was 19 years old, 19 until about 22. And towards the end of my college career, around 21, 22, I was in the national team, but not full time. So I was in there, practicing, trying to make some Pan Am teams, some Norseca teams. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't a full member of the national team, I would say. And then I went for my first professional contract in Germany. Okay. And that was when Coach John Spurall called me and said, okay, you're going to be on the roster for the national team for the World League. And I guess the rest is history. But I was the first time I was full-time with the national team, I believe I was 23.
Okay. For me, it's incredible to talk with you because we are far away. We are in Chile. We are on the bottom of the of the world, but we see so much about volleyball today, and watch your team or you playing as a leader in the national team. It's incredible. You played in Germany, you played in Russia, you played in Poland now. It's like a dream for many of us here in Chile. Tell me, please, and when did you saw that volleyball maybe could be a lifetime or a life job for you? How was this, and when did you thought it would be possible?
So I think I was lucky because my brother Kavika, who also played for the national team, is 2 years older than I am, mm-hmm. and he went to Europe before I did and started playing. And this is when I kind of realized, like, oh, maybe it's possible that I can also do this. I think we were on the similar level of skills. Okay. And I understood that it was difficult as a libero, but, it was something I wanted to try and have fun and make some money. But I didn't think I could make it maybe a full-time career probably until my second or third year professionally, based on the money, based on contracts, based on if I was going to make it on the national team. So those first couple years, it was just a lot of fun, working hard, trying to work my way up. and then I started playing in Russia, Champions League in Italy, and now in Poland. And this is my 11th season, so I've worked my way up, and I think I'm pretty proud of where I've come. But it wasn't like the top of the top when I started, so it was definitely a work in progress.
I know, no, and especially in my time, there was no libero. So libero, for me, it's a new kind of volleyball, a very, very tough and difficult kind of volleyball. Did you sometimes did you not miss to can serve the block or attack or happy as a libero?
Yeah, so when the USA started using liberos for the club level, I was around 12 years old. And
Right.
because I played with my brother, I was always kind of the smallest guy, smallest, youngest. I was pretty good at passing and defense. So my dad was the coach and just put me as libero because that's what,
Right.
I was best at. But I also played other positions in school growing up. So I was a setter. I hit not very well, but I was a spiker. And then, but I think it was a pretty young age where I realized, like, I'm not going to be that tall. I'm 183 centimeters, which in the world is okay, but in volleyball, it's not very tall.
Yes.
Yeah, and I had good ball control, so I think I just realized, like, this is the position I'm going to be. I'm going to work hard at it and hopefully make this career. So do I miss other things? Maybe, but honestly, not really.
Okay, it's very, very interesting for me because I never played as a libero. In my times there was no libero. We, as mid blocker, must defense and serve and do a lot of things that today it's not so. And tell me, please, Erik, how was your experience in Germany and Russia? Well, in Russia, I have the opportunity to interview Camilo Placci, and this Sunday will publish an interview with Martin. How was this experience for you to play in another country, a country so far, in a country with a volleyball tradition so long ago? How was it for you?
I would say at first the experience was shocking to play in Russia. I played in a club that was so far away in Lokomotiv Novosibirsk, which is in Siberia for all of the people that understand
It's like
Russia.
movie.
So
it's a movie to play.
It's like a movie, and I had no idea, how to survive really in this cold, in this kind of environment. So I would say it was shocking, and obviously the volleyball was incredible, top to bottom in this league. It's just so powerful, so big, so strong. But 4 years later, after 4 years of playing in Russia, Camilo Placci, Martin, they were my coaches, which I had an absolute amazing experience with those guys. You get used to it. You get more used to the cold. You understand what to wear, what jackets to wear, how to drive the car, and things like that. So obviously Russia right now it's an interesting topic to talk about, but my experience there was great. I cherish so many memories, and I have a lot of friends from there, and I'm really happy that I was able to play there, and I believe that it's one of the top leagues, so I can kind of check that off the box.
Exactly. And Germany, how was Germany for you?
Oh, I love Germany. So I started off on a team, Chemie Volley Mitteldeutschland, who I don't believe they're even in the first division anymore. I think they're in the second division, which was a small town in Germany, about 2 hours south of Berlin. And then I also played 2 years in Berlin. So I had a great time in Germany. I think it's not the best volleyball league, but in terms of my life experience, it was top of the top. And I'm very thankful for those experiences because they allowed me to kind of move up in leagues. I played in Champions League 2 years, and I just had a great time. And my brother also played with me 1 year there. Also in Russia, my brother played with me as well. So, I really am fortunate about a lot of the experiences that I had, and I try to take away the positive things more than, maybe some of the negatives.
Absolutely. And taking to the national team, how was it for you? Because as I told you before, for us in Chile and South America, to watch the national team of the United States always has been like a legend. We saw the team from 1984 with Kira, Lita Powers, and after this, many other generations. How was it for you to be part of this team of legends also?
Yeah, I would say it was pretty surreal and overwhelming to start playing with the national team. I was towards the beginning of my career, there's guys like Reed Pretty, Rich Lamborn, Clay Stanley, Riley Salmon, David Lee, who were part of this 2008 team that won gold. So to come in and try to compete with these guys and play and create these bonds on the court, it was difficult because you're just this young guy that is eager and trying to work hard, but you're not as skilled as some of these guys. So it was overwhelming, but you kind of get used to it, and then you adapt and you learn and you get better. And for me, I've always loved playing for the national team. For me, it's my number one thing in volleyball. So I've been really lucky and just so happy to be part of that team.
Mm-hmm. And you were part of the national team in Rio. You won a bronze medal. How was it for you as a player, as a child from Hawaii, to play in the best leagues of volleyball of the world and be part of this great experience?
It was absolutely incredible. I think growing up in a volleyball household, my father also coached many Olympic women's players.
Okay.
So as a young age, I was able to watch the Olympics and be like, hey, there's T. Williams, there's Heather Bowen, Robin Amo. And those were my idols growing up. So for me to then be in that role and playing for my country and playing at the top level was just the best experience. And obviously to come away with the medal is just, a cherry on top of the cake. But I think just being there, competing and achieving this goal was, something that I didn't think would happen in my lifetime, to be quite honest. And, now it's happened twice and hoping, a third time coming up soon.
I know. And we were talking about just your playing position as a libero in a national team, so strong. And how is it for you? Because I also have the opportunity to talk with other national players, for example, Peter Nowakowski from Poland, and he told me his sad experience in the Olympics, but the Polish team is so strong in the World Championships. And how was it for you in Tokyo or Rio to watch another big teams like Italy, like Russia, like Brazil, and to be there playing and make your best efforts, but not gaining the gold? How was it for you, and what's next? I believe you want gold, maybe in Paris or I don't know. What's your feeling about this?
Yeah, it's every tournament that we play in, I think you go for gold. I think especially with Team USA or another top 5, 6 team in the world, you obviously are going for gold every time. So it can be disappointing when you don't make the final or you're not competing for gold. But men's volleyball today is so strong. And these teams you could see in the World Championships, Turkey was taking us to 5 sets in the round of 16, which nobody expected. Italy was winning the tournament, which nobody expected. So they're quality teams. All you can do is prepare as well as you can, scout your opponent, work hard, and go out there and fight and compete. And, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But, obviously with the Olympics and the World Championships, it can be disappointing. But for me, I think the goal is to learn from these experiences, be better, and hopefully, obviously I'm focused on the season now, but Paris is kind of the long-term goal.
Absolutely. And it's maybe a trivial question, but do the liberos are friends with other liberos from the other teams, like they go from France or from the players from Brazil? How do you behave in the championships with other liberos?
Yeah, I mean, I think a thing that a lot of volleyball fans don't understand is that a lot of these competitors on the national team are our teammates overseas on these club teams. So about a month ago, I was competing against 3 Polish guys that I'm now competing together with. So it creates this sort of interesting dynamic that you're playing against friends sometimes who you love and you spend time with and you have dinners and coffees, and it's fun. But I would say the Libero community, if I can call it that, yes. I think it's good. Like, I think we all, yeah, I think we, genuinely, we really do like each other. I think I've kind of grown up with the national team with, Zhenya Grzenikov and Pavel Zatorsky. We've all been on the national team since about 2013. So it's been fun to compete with them and kind of get to know them. And I see Zatorsky a lot in Poland. So I think the Libero community is great. And I think that we have a lot of fun. and we have a lot of fun competing against each other.
And I saw you yesterday or a few days ago and watching the female national team of United States playing against Serbia. You were there in the crowd, and that's where I'm jumping to my next question about your YouTube channel. How did this project started, and how was it for you to get in this digital and marketing and audiovisual world?
So 2020, I'm sure you're aware that COVID changed all of our lives.
Exactly.
And, you know, we all went home and we were inside and thinking of things to do. And, you know, there's a big thing on YouTube called reaction videos where people watch sports or singing or dancing or artwork and people just comment on them. And I'm one of the people that watches these things, like so many of us. So I said, nobody's doing this for volleyball. Like, I think volleyball is a pretty good community. You know, there's a lot of YouTube channels out there that have millions of followers. Volleyball World is doing so well on YouTube.
Absolutely.
And I said, okay, I think I'm in a position where I'm knowledgeable. I think I sometimes have a funny personality and love to talk about volleyball. So I was in Honolulu at the time, and I said, okay, I'm not going to do this while I'm home with my family. But I got to Russia and actually got COVID, and I was home for 2 weeks. I started the channel and started reacting to different matches and highlights, and I don't know, I've just been enjoying it. But it's been about 2 years, and I don't know, it's a lot of fun. It doesn't take up too much of my time, and I enjoy doing it. I just enjoy volleyball and watching all types of volleyball. It doesn't matter to me, and yeah, I think people have enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed doing it.
Fantastic. And do you have a team behind you, or you do all the edition of the videos, the script?
Yeah.
How is it?
Well, I do all the videos myself. I don't follow a script. I mean, I have certain things that I say, but I try to be as natural as I can. But I do have an editor. I do have a thumbnail maker that helped me. It's kind of my team. They're volleyball fans. They're volleyball players and from different countries. So I guess I'm kind of their boss. And yeah, they work for me. I have a little team, so it's really cool.
Fantastic. In my channel, I work alone. I'm the only player here. I'm the libero, I'm the middle blocker, I'm the outside hitter. But as you say, these times, many volleyball channels and social media are working, are uploading many information contents. So for me, it's so great to know people like you that we love volleyball. We played before,
Yes.
we played now. So for me, it's incredible. And I wanted to ask you, getting a little back in time, when you started playing volleyball, did you have somebody you admire? Because, for example, here in Chile, we admire the Brazilian players, the Argentinian players, some Russian players that we know about.
Yeah.
When you started, do you have some in mind? Did you thought, I want to play like X person? Oh,
yeah. So I have a two-part answer to that. I think the first part is like, I think it's so cool that volleyball is everywhere now on social media and on YouTube. I have, you know, when I go home and there's young players that are like, oh, how is it playing against Maxim Mikhailov, or how is it playing against Nishida or Leal? And I'm like, you know those guys? Like, that's awesome. Or like, congrats on the world champs in Poland last week, or whatever they want to say. I'm like, you know that happened. So I think that's super cool. I think when I was young, I didn't have that kind of access. You know, in the US, it was scrolling on channel 542, and then you had to pay $10 to see one World League game. So I think that's like when I was younger. But, you know, like I said, I grew up with women's volleyball more than men. So a lot of the people that I looked up to were women and who played for my dad. So, you know, I talked a lot about some of these Hawaii players, connections with Hawaii. Robin Amo was an amazing setter coming out of Hawaii. Lindsey Berg is from my high school in Hawaii. Clay Stanley, obviously. Heather Bowen, T. Williams, just Angelica Lundqvist, who is not an international volleyball player, but played for my dad. Like, these players were my idols.
Okay.
They were, you know, great players, but also great people. And great students because they're in the university. So I looked up to that a lot, and I wanted to be exactly like them. But, you know, I just love people that are connected to where I'm from. It's a small place, and we're so proud of people that can kind of get out of there and make it bigger. If I have to point to one player that is my player, I would say it's Logan Tom. the women's national team
Yes.
U.S. player.
Player, yes.
I think she's one of the greatest players ever. For me, she's the greatest, female women's volleyball player in the U.S. So that was my idol. It was kind of my dad's rival back in the day, but someone that obviously I think her volleyball is the greatest of all time for U.S. women.
She's still in Israel as a coach, or?
I believe so, which is so, just unbelievable to me. I think it's so cool that she's there and coaching. But I know Logan. She's a a friend of mine. I just think that she's awesome. I know she's had a lot of ups and downs in her career, but her body of work is incredible, and I just think she's the best player.
Absolutely.
That's it. Yeah.
I think like you, she was an incredible player. And tell me, Erik, please, how is it now in Poland? Because what I know that Poland has an incredible and crazy crowd for volleyball, has a tremendous history in volleyball, and now one of the strongest league in volleyball. Many of the best players of the world, as you, are playing in Poland. How is it for you? And how is your projection in your future over there?
Well, I think it's just a joy to play here because people love volleyball. The players are recognized. We get a lot of crowds at the matches. Today I was in IKEA and there was a volleyball fan that just randomly wanted a photo. So, there's volleyball fans everywhere, I think. And, the World Championships, the crowds were just incredible. 10,000, 13,000. That last match against Poland that we played in was just one of the most insane environments I've ever played in. And I'm so grateful that I'm even part of that match, even though we lost. But Poland is awesome for volleyball. I think it's the best place to play volleyball. I think in just overall, the league is so strong. I'm not a huge fan of the 16-team league, I'll be honest. And, there's a kind of a fight about it right now. But it's just great. It's challenging. So many great players, day in, day out. The players are great. I think even our second team would be a strong team in Germany or in France.
Okay.
And yeah, I just enjoy that challenge.
Exactly. And I said it many times in my interviews because I have interviewed many players from the 80s and from the 70s, and these old times there was the difference between the Japanese volleyball school, the American volleyball school, the Brazilian volleyball, the Russian. Today, as we talked before, it's more similar. How do you adapt to, for example, when you played in Russia, to this powerful and so big guys playing volleyball, and then adapt to the national team, to German volleyball? How was it for you as a libero to integrate and mix with these different styles of volleyball?
Yeah, I think volleyball in general is becoming a little bit more universal in the way that people are playing. So in Russia, maybe 10 years ago, it was strictly power, serving and blocking and spiking. But now, they're incorporating, more of the tips that Argentina or France had back in the day, that was their style. So I do think it's coming together. And I do think that Poland is like the best of all of the worlds coming together, because you just see a mix of so many international and Polish players, so creative. They're spiking hard and high, and then they're tipping the next ball, and then they're setting the next ball. So it's this crazy, coming together of volleyball styles, which is so awesome. I think the U.S., we're learning slowly but surely. Unfortunately, we're not as exposed as, some of these other countries are to volleyball. But, as far as adapting, you get here and you dive in and you watch video and you learn, and that's the best you can do. And, it takes time, but hopefully, you do it quicker than slower.
And what are your plans for the future? Do you want to be in social media all the time? Do you have some projects over there, or do you want to be always a part of sports? What's your plan for the future?
Yeah, I think I want to play a couple more years at least, to finish my career. I love being in Poland, so hopefully things can work out here, but who knows? And I want to go to Paris, and then maybe after that, I'm not exactly sure. But for me, volleyball is a huge, huge, huge part of my life. I just enjoy coaching. I enjoy making social media. I enjoy working with youth volleyball players. So somehow staying involved, whether that's coaching in university, maybe creating some sort of Erik Shoji volleyball camp that travel around the US, which is something in the works potentially. But volleyball, I love volleyball. I love being a part of it. I love hoping to make this sport better and, helping the youth, one, improve at volleyball and also just improve in themselves. And I think that volleyball can do that.
Fantastic what you're saying. Many players from the national team of the United States or in other countries are doing this, for example, to have some academies, volleyball academies, or teaching volleyball. It's incredible. Or another volleyball players do some marketing jobs, other things. So I wanted to ask you, what's your opinion about current volleyball? Because we're watching the female volleyball championship. It's incredible how good they're playing. It's impressive, how strong they are, how tall they are. But even it's my opinion, they have always this female kind of touching the ball. It's different that men is power.
Yeah.
They are giants, but female volleyball, Brazilian, the American, the Serbian play so well. How's your opinion as an actual player to watch this fantastic volleyball?
Well, when I'm playing, it's challenging, right? It's fun and it's hard, and you have to work really hard to make sure that your skills are on point. But when I watch volleyball, I'm just so impressed. A lot of the people that know me, when I watch, I don't even believe that I'm one of those players.
Okay.
Because I watch and I see these hits and these serves and these passes, and I'm like, that is just unbelievable. Like, how do people play like that? And I have to remind myself, like, okay, I can also do that. So I'm just a fan when I watch volleyball. I think it's incredible to watch. I think the Women's World Championship has been insane between, Boskovic and Egonu, and then Carol had 10 blocks last night in the semifinals in a 4-set match. So, and she's had 57 blocks in the whole tournament, which is just insane. So I'm just a fan. I love watching. I'm friends with a lot of the women on the US team and enjoy supporting them as well. So when I watch, I'm just kind of in shock and in awe. And when I play, I just have to, remind myself, like, I am capable of doing this as well.
Fantastic. And I wanted to tell you again my thanks for your time to being able to talk with me so far away, and thank always and also Martin and Camilo. I interviewed him when he was in Siberia, and again for me Siberia it's like a nightmare. I don't know where it is.
Yeah, I mean Siberia. It's just one of those places you hear about. You don't even know that it's a real place, and then you live there, and it's yeah. So I've lived it. I've enjoyed it. I'm happy that I was able to have such experiences, and I've had so many experiences around the world. I have never been to Chile, which I would love to. I just had a friend that traveled all the way down the coast, but one day.
Fantastic. And I wanted to thank you again, Erik, for your time. For me, it was a so great pleasure. I mean, a little nervous because
don't be nervous.
I have interviewed many players from all times, but to talk with players, I am one of the best players of today. For me, it's such a great
Thank you.
And I wanted to thank you again and wish you a fantastic season in Poland, and maybe a gold medal in Paris. Who knows? I think your team is so powerful. Volleyball today, it's so tight between the best teams. So maybe, and it would be a joy for you and your teams and your former teammates. I don't know.
Yes.
I sent you a big hug from Chile. I wish you all well, and hopefully invite you to follow my channels. I follow your channels. Fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
So best regards, and keep in touch.
Yes, for sure. Well, thank you for having me. I enjoyed talking about volleyball, of course, and I look forward to talking in the future. So thank you very much.
That's it.